In the shadow of ancient jungles, beneath the weight of colossal stone heads that have witnessed centuries of history, a civilization once ruled with an iron fist. The Olmec. Their rise was nothing short of spectacular, built on blood, power, and the divine will of their gods. But within their empire, buried beneath the magnificence, lay a darker truth. A truth of sacrifice, unrelenting violence, and a relentless thirst for domination that shaped the destiny of an entire region. What secrets did the Olmec keep hidden in the depths of their ancient cities? Who were the men who ruled with the ferocity of jaguars? And what cost did their people pay for their relentless ambition? Prepare to uncover the forgotten empire that changed the course of Mesoamerican history forever. The Olmec are waiting. Will you dare to see their true legacy? The rise of a forgotten empire. In the heart of ancient Mesoamerica, a shadowy and formidable civilization once thrived, the Olmecs. Their empire, though long gone, left an indelible mark on the fabric of history. The world knows the Olmec chiefly through the monumental stone heads they left behind, huge, imposing figures that seem to stare into the very soul of time. But beneath these stony faces lies a civilization shrouded in mystery, violence, and the absolute rule of its powerful elite. The Olmec were not merely artists and astronomers. They were conquerors, enforcers of a brutal hierarchy, and creators of a legacy whose echoes can still be felt today. The cradle of power, rise of the Olmec kingdom. The Olmec civilization flourished around 1200 BC in what is now southern Mexico, particularly in the lush Gulf Coast region. Their heartland was marked by large ceremonial centers, the most significant being San Lorenzo, followed by La Venta. These centers, however, were more than mere urban hubs. They were the seats of an intensely hierarchical society, where the line between the divine and the earthly was ever so thin. At the top of this social pyramid stood the jaguars, the elite rulers and priests who held absolute power over their subjects. Their dominion stretched across vast territories, dominating not only through political strategy, but with the overwhelming force of violence. The jaguar, a symbol of ferocity and divine power, became synonymous with the ruler's brutal reigns. The reign of blood, the cruelty of the Olmec rulers. The Olmec elite, as powerful as they were enigmatic, exercised an iron grip over their people. They ruled with a combination of fear, awe, and religious fervor, manipulating the populace with threats of sacrifice and violence. The blood-soaked rituals that punctuated their reign were as much about maintaining control as they were about appeasing the gods. It was in this context that the monumental heads, crafted from basalt stone and weighing several tons, were created. These imposing figures, towering over the land, served not only as symbols of divine authority, but also as chilling reminders of the absolute power the rulers wielded. Some scholars believe these heads represented individual kings, while others think they were more generalized emblems of the ruling class. Regardless of their purpose, they stand as silent witnesses to the terror the Olmec leaders imposed on their people. A society built on sacrifice, blood and power. Human sacrifice was a central element of Olmec society. Captives, criminals, or those chosen by the gods were brought to sacred altars, where their lives were taken in violent, ritualistic ceremonies. These sacrifices were not only meant to appease deities, but also served as a tool for the rulers to instill terror into the hearts of their subjects. It was an era where the blood of the innocent was spilled not just to ensure agricultural fertility or to honor the gods, but to remind the people of the unyielding power of the elite. Yet despite the violent image the Olmec portray, they were also the architects of a culture that revered spirituality, astrology, and craftsmanship. The same hands that sculpted the stone heads were adept at weaving intricate textiles, creating detailed ceramics, and designing early forms of writing, an enduring legacy that would later influence the Maya and Aztec civilizations. The shadows of the elite, the hidden cost of power. Beneath the glory and grandeur of the Olmec's ritualistic ceremonies and architectural marvels, there lay a darker truth, an undercurrent of brutality that permeated every layer of their society. The rulers, while elevated to divine status, were ruthless in their pursuit of power, commanding slave labor, using fear to control the masses, and frequently engaging in wars of conquest. The shamans, who held the sacred power to commune with the gods, were not just spiritual guides, but also political figures, often supporting the ruler's violent actions to maintain their own position of power. The intertwining of religion and politics made it impossible to distinguish between the two, allowing for a nearly absolute control over the people. It is said that when the Olmec reached the peak of their power, they controlled vast swaths of territory, from the Veracruz Plains to the Tuxtla Mountains. Yet their dominance was not without its cost. Ruthless territorial expansion, blood-soaked rituals, and incessant battles against neighboring tribes forged an empire whose foundation was laid upon cruelty. The fall, collapse of the Olmec Empire. As swiftly as the Olmec rose to power, they fell into obscurity. Around 400 BC, the great ceremonial center of San Lorenzo was abandoned, and soon after La Venta fell into decline. Various theories attempt to explain the sudden collapse of this once formidable empire. Environmental changes, internal strife, and the exhaustion of resources all played a part. However, the most compelling theory suggests that the very bloodthirsty rule that had brought them power also sowed the seeds of their downfall. As the rulers became more disconnected from the people they ruled, discontent and rebellion likely grew within the heart of their empire. Though the Olmec disappeared as a cohesive political force, their legacy lived on. Many of their cultural and religious practices were absorbed by later Mesoamerican civilizations, particularly the Maya and Aztec. The Olmecs' advancements in writing, mathematics, and astronomy served as the groundwork for the intellectual achievements of these later civilizations. The Olmecs' legacy, a shadow that casts long across time. What did the Olmec leave behind? A civilization built on blood, power, and ritual, yes, but also a culture that influenced the very course of Mesoamerican history. They are the forgotten pioneers, the builders of the first great pyramids in the Americas, the creators of the first written language in the region. Their influence reached far beyond their time, shaping the societies that followed. Today, their stone heads, silent and monumental, gaze across the centuries, holding their secrets close. The legacy of the Olmec is one that is impossible to ignore. Their violent, often cruel reigns remind us of the fine line between civilization and tyranny, and the cost of power. As we look upon the ruins they left behind, be it the stone heads, the remnants of their great cities, or the vestiges of their written language, we are reminded that even the most brutal empires leave a lasting imprint on history.